Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point tonight is coming from the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal is out of jail. His lawyer, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, decodes an important Supreme Court verdict that suggests the CBI remains a caged parrot. Also, I'll be joined by the Overseas Congress chairperson Sam Pitroda, an India Today journalist, was roughed up by Congress workers during the visit of Rahul Gandhi. Pitroda will respond to that tonight. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal walks out of Tihar jail. Delhi Chief Minister is granted bail by the Supreme Court, says keeping him behind bars could not break his spirit, but the court says he cannot visit the state secretariat or sign files. Supreme Court pulls up the CBI. Justice Bhuya says that the CBI likens the probe agency to a caged parrot, says CBI should project independence to the public. Deadlock continues between West Bengal junior doctors and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Doctors now want President Murmu, Prime Minister Modi's intervention. Mamata Banerjee says health services affected, claims 29 patients have lost their lives. Court Blare renamed as Sri Vijayapuram. Modi government calls it a move to shed colonial baggage. Home Minister Amit Shah says Vijayapura reflects the victory of India's freedom movement. After Shimla, protests erupt now in Mandi over an alleged illegal mosque. Police and protesters face off. Parts of the Mandi mosque are demolished. A Tamil Nadu restaurant owner's GST critique triggers a row. State BJP chief Annamalai apologizes for sharing the businessman's apology to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Congress claims its tax terrorism is exposed. Siddaramaiah government cracks the whip over Mandya clashes. State intelligence chief shunted out. Mandya top cop suspended. HT Kumaraswamy visits the riot site. SEBI chief Madhavi Buch responds to allegations against her. Buch says charges false and malicious, as facts distorted to mislead the public. Congress says, why doesn't she sue us now then? Rain fury brings the national capital region to its knees. Roads waterlogged, massive traffic snarls after torrential rainfall. Flights to Delhi also delayed. But the big story that we've been breaking and tracking today, Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi Chief Minister, has walked out of Tihar jail after spending more than 100 days there. The Delhi Chief Minister was released, in fact, after nearly 5 months. There was a short interlude when he had been allowed to campaign in the Lok Sabha elections. Kejriwal, coming out of Tihar jail, held a mega roadshow in the national capital and said that jailing me cannot break my will. Celebrations erupted in Aam Aadmi Party over Kejriwal's release. That, in fact, happened this morning after, remember, the Supreme Court granted him bail. But while granting him bail, one of the judges, first let's listen into Arvind Kejriwal.
देश के अंदर कुछ लोग, कुछ राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, देश को बांटने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, भाई को भाई से लड़ाने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, जुडिशरी को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, न्याय व्यवस्था को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जजों को डराया धमकाया जा रहा है। आज देश के अंदर इलेक्शन कमीशन को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, ईडी पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है, सीबीआई पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है। देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने की कुछ राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें कोशिश कर रही हैं। हमें इसका मुकाबला करना है दोस्तों। मेरा कसूर यह नहीं है कि मैंने कोई भ्रष्टाचार किया था, मेरा कसूर यह है कि मैंने उन राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतों के खिलाफ आवाज बुलंद की थी। इसलिए लेकिन मैं हमेशा इन ताकतों के खिलाफ लड़ा हूं और आगे भी इन ताकतों के खिलाफ लड़ता रहूंगा।
Arvind Kejriwal talking tough. Remember, after nearly 5 months behind bars, Mr. Kejriwal walked out of Tihar jail after getting bail from the Supreme Court. While granting bail, the Delhi Chief Minister has several restrictions. He cannot sign any files, nor can he visit the state secretariat. Meanwhile, one of the judges of the Supreme Court, Justice Bhuya, pulled up the CBI severely, calling Kejriwal's arrest unjustified and said that the probe agency must rise above suspicion and stop acting like a caged parrot. Take a look.
Big relief for Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The Supreme Court on Friday granted him bail in the CBI case in the alleged excise policy scam. The two-judge bench of Justices Suryakant and Ujjal Bhuyan was unanimous in the decision to grant bail. The court pointed out the charge sheet has already been filed and the trial is unlikely to be completed soon. The two judges, however, wrote different verdicts. While Justice Suryakant held Kejriwal's arrest by the CBI to be legal, Justice Ujjal Bhuyan came down heavily on the central agency. Justice Bhuyan said that the CBI case against Kejriwal was filed on August 17, 2022, but his arrest took place on June 26, 2024. The judge said the CBI did not feel the need to arrest Kejriwal for 22 months. Justice Bhuyan ruled that Kejriwal's arrest appeared strategically timed to frustrate his bail in the Enforcement Directorate case. The judge further urged the CBI to dispel the image of being a caged parrot. Justice Bhuyan stated that the CBI should be like Caesar's wife, above suspicion.
Both the judges of the bench have agreed that yes, he is entitled to bail. As far as the illegal arrest point is concerned, which we had raised before the court, one of the judges, Justice Bhuyan, has passed a separate judgment to say that in fact the arrest itself was illegal. And in fact, since the arrest itself was illegal and there was no necessity to arrest him, he is entitled to bail in the arrest matter also. So it's a very big judgment, and it also comments on the way the CBI has acted in the matter.
The bail conditions are the same as listed by the Supreme Court in the ED case. Kejriwal will have to refrain from public comments on the liquor case. He cannot attend Chief Minister's office and is barred from signing official files, but he can sign files that require to be sent to the LG. He is required to fully cooperate with the trial court. The Aam Aadmi Party mounted a fierce attack on the CBI, accusing the agency of acting under political pressure. Party leaders demanded the resignation of Home Minister Amit Shah, calling the arrest an act of political vendetta.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बेंच ने यहाँ तक कह दिया कि क्यों मुख्यमंत्री के ऊपर ये कंडीशंस लगाई गई हैं कि वो सचिवालय नहीं जा सकते, फाइलें साइन नहीं कर सकते, मेरी समझ के बाहर है। मगर क्योंकि दूसरी बेंच ने ये कंडीशंस लगाई हैं, इसलिए इसके ऊपर हम ज़्यादा टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहते हैं। कोर्ट ने साफ तौर पे कह दिया कि देश की प्रीमियर एजेंसी बदले की भावना से, कपट छल से काम कर रही है। मुझे लगता है गृह मंत्री को एक दिन भी अपनी सीट पे रहने का हक खत्म हो गया है।
केजरीवाल की बेल से जनता को कोई फायदा होने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन आम आदमी पार्टी मिठाइयां बांट रही है क्योंकि उनको जनता से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, अपने भ्रष्टाचार से लेना देना है। और मुजरिम केजरीवाल जो जेल से छूटे हैं बेल पर कंडीशंस के साथ, उनकी बेल पर खुशी मनानी है क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली तो भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है और उस भ्रष्टाचार में का फैसला आएगा तो जेल तो जाना ही है।
Kejriwal comes out of jail at a time assembly elections are taking place in Haryana. His campaign will be closely watched as AAP is contesting the elections on its own. With Kanu Sarda and Amit Bhardwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let me then go straight to our first newsmaker tonight. The senior Supreme Court advocate, lawyer for Arvind Kejriwal, senior Congress leader and MP. Joining me now, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Dr. Singhvi, how do you interpret this order? Because it was a split verdict between the two judges on whether the arrest was legal or not. Bail was granted. To you, what's the big takeaway?
I don't want to be technical, but it's important to understand some nuances. Firstly, the biggest takeaway is that both judges are unanimous that the person cannot be kept behind bars, must be given bail. Mm-hmm. In that process, they are also unanimous that bail is the rule, jail is the exception. They are also unanimous that huge delay, trial not even starting, forget completing, millions, thousands of witnesses or lakhs of documents, hundreds of witnesses, no chance of tampering, and therefore he must get bail. This is the unanimity part. The second big takeaway is that Justice Bhuyan goes and deals with a factual aspect. This is a very important nuance which nobody is talking about, Rajdeep. He deals with the factual context of no necessity to arrest. As your program just said, 3 dates show it. 22 August, then interrogated in 23 and then arrested in 24. There cannot be necessity of arrest is what he says. Now, Justice Suryakant actually deals with the law part of it, namely 41, 41A, and says it doesn't apply in favor of Kejriwal, but does not deal with the factual aspect that even assuming that that law doesn't apply, a person who is not arrested for 2 long years, who has been given 3 release orders by PMLA, why should there be a necessity to detain him and keep him behind bars? So therefore, this is a gap. There is no dissent on that between the two. One deals with it and grants the relief, the other doesn't touch it. Number three, another misinformation going on is he can't sign any files. The order doesn't add a comma full stop to the order already passed on 12th of July in the PMLA case, Kejriwal himself, where I had the privilege also argue. Now that order says, and this is forgotten, Kejriwal holds no portfolio. He doesn't actually sign any files at all. The only category of files he must sign and does sign are the ones which have to go to the LG. So the Supreme Court order of 12th July made this distinction, said all matters where he has to sign, namely going to the LG, he can sign, which is continued today. The ones which are others, his ministers sign, he doesn't need to sign. And lastly, I think it's political to suggest that he cannot function as a chief minister. It is not something which I'm going to get into, but an elected chief minister cannot and should not be removed by these tactics. Now that he's out of jail and his ministers are signing files and he can sign the files for the LG, I don't think governance is any issue at all.
No, the fact is that, you see, Dr. Singhvi, there are 2 judges who have in some way differed from each other. Even on these conditions, they have differed from each other. Justice Bhuya has gone as far away to say that the arrest was unnecessary, seemed to suggest that the CBI was acting like a cage parrot or needed to dispel the notion of a cage parrot. That's not what Justice Suryakant says. You've chosen mainly one side to represent that. My limited point to you is, where does this leave the wider case of the liquor policy now? For the last 3 years, Delhi's politics, or 2 years at least, certainly Delhi's politics has been haunted by it. Where does this leave the larger case now?
2 things. You asked me the takeaway, so I gave you the convergence, the commonality. You are now giving the divergence, and you're absolutely right. There is a divergence, but the interesting nuance is the divergence is on one point of law, the inapplicability of 41 and 41A. There is no ruling by Justice Suryakant on the factual context of no necessity to arrest.
No. Justice Suryakant says that the arrest was legal. He says the arrest was legal.
On the basis that 41 and 41A don't apply. Now that's an error, but there is a different issue. Error is not what we are discussing, because what Justice Suryakant says is that when a person is already in custody, as Kejriwal was when the CBI came to arrest him, that police action or procedure is taken by the magistrate and the police has to do nothing. But forget that. On your other point, it's important that Justice Bhuyan has taken the overall context and according to me has rightly castigated this part. I was abroad when I used the phrase insurance arrest, because a man who's released by 3 orders, 2 prior and 1 later, in a much more difficult act PMLA, it has never happened before that with section 45 and a bar in PMLA, you get 3 release orders, including the 12th July order, and CBI comes and arrests you on the last 3rd week of June. He did not use, the learned judge did not use the word insurance arrest, but he clearly said it frustrates. The strategy is to frustrate. Now your point about liquor. I don't think the liquor issue is going to end because it has become a nice whipping stick for the ruling party to use. They will continue using it. But the complete sting has gone out of it as far as the threat of incarceration is concerned, let me tell you, the so-called fortress of the PMLA has actually become more like a hut, with even the hut's walls crumbling, because partly of the 6, 7, 8 judgments which have come in this liquor policy context and in a few related cases like Pravir Purakasthya or Kavita, etc.
Right.
So actually this fortress which is being used to intimidate political opponents has largely crumbled in robust, commonsensical, strong judgments, including this, despite the dissent. Despite the disagreement. I'm sorry, not dissent, disagreement.
One final question. You said earlier that you see this judgment not affecting Mr. Kejriwal's ability to continue as Chief Minister. The BJP has gone to the President of India. They've demanded that President's rule be applied. You've got a Chief Minister who cannot go to the office. He cannot go to the State Secretariat. And therefore, questions are being raised by the BJP. How can Kejriwal continue? Do you believe this judgment strengthens him or weakens him?
He can sign every file which he needs to sign, which has to go to the governor. He can sign sitting at home. He can sign in my house. He can sign in your house. And he can sign. He is not disabled from signing. Number two, this judgment obviously, contrary to what opponents are saying, may actually strengthen him. Because this judgment is a vindication of his release. Number three, he has been released twice earlier. So he has not been considered a threat to any criminality, Now, as far as the liquor scam is concerned, it's a strange thing. We have now 2.5 years of a so-called liquor scam. In 2.5 years, forget everything else, Rajdeep. You must find some money trail, some actual recovery. The CBI and the PMLA admits, the ED, they admit that there is no recovery, and they say there cannot be recovery because the money has been used up. But such massive amounts of money are talked about. Third facet of this, the entire case, I'm answering because you're asking about the liquor scam.
Yes.
90% of the case is based upon accused, co-accused, who are in jail, who have been denied bail, and then suddenly and miraculously get bail a few days, a few weeks after they turn approvers. It's based entirely on non-corroborated independent evidence. It is based on only people turning approvers.
Let me leave it there, Dr. Singhvi. As always, of course, a pleasure talking to you, for giving us your perspective on a day where you've got your client on bail. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Let's turn to the politics of all of this. Who is winning this battle of optics now that Kejriwal is out of jail? Did that jail stay hurt Arvind Kejriwal's image, particularly his claim to be an anti-corruption crusader? Can Mr. Kejriwal now play the victim card as he seems to be doing the moment he's come out of jail? Joining me now are Sanju Verma, the BJP's national spokesperson, and Akshay Marathe, AAP spokesperson, Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, also with us. Akshay Marathe, coming out of jail, the first thing that Arvind Kejriwal said, he claimed to be a victim, that he said, anti-national forces have conspired against me. Who are these anti-national forces? That and do you really believe that he can play this sympathy card? It didn't work in the Lok Sabha, so how is it going to work in Vidhan Sabha in a few months?
Rajiv ji, this is a great question to start this debate with, because today the Supreme Court has actually vindicated what we have been saying forever, which is that the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate are behaving as caged parrots. And if a parrot has been caged, the real question is who has caged this parrot? The parrot has been caged by the Department of Personnel and Training, which you very well know, Mr. Rajdeep, that it reports directly to the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi himself. So when the Supreme Court says that Arvind Kejriwal was arrested by the CBI in a move to frustrate the effect of the bail that he had got in the ED case by the CBI, what does it tell us? It tells us that the CBI was acting on political orders of the Prime Minister of India to keep Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who is his political rival, in jail beyond a time that the Supreme Court had felt suitable in the past. Now, why do we think that he comes out of this unscathed? Is because, Rajivji, the whole reason that we have been targeted in this manner is because we tried to build a perception that we are the only honest party in India. That is what the BJP was trying to destroy. But now we have gone through an Agni Pariksha. We have gone through a fire test of several investigations. where we have come out on bail in a matter like the PMLA.
Bail is not innocence.
You cannot get
No, but Mr. Marathe, bail is not the same as innocence. You still have to go to the court of public opinion, where you're going to have to prove that the people believe that Arvind Kejriwal was targeted as you claim.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Bail is not innocence. In fact, I want that the trial should be done in a speedy manner so that the whole case falls flat. Our whole problem, Rajdeep ji, is that the trial is not starting. Our leaders, Mr. Manish Sisodia was in jail for 18 months. Arvind Kejriwal was in jail for 6 months. Why does the Enforcement Directorate and the court not start the trial if they are so convinced that we have done something wrong? Start the trial, convict us and put us in jail. But instead, without starting the trial, you're throwing somebody in jail who is a sitting chief minister elected after defeating your own party. That is the message that the people are getting today, that the BJP cannot stand anybody standing up to them and defeating them at the polls. They will go after them in whichever way possible, and that's what the Supreme Court has scuttled. And the Constitution and democracy have won.
You made that point. Sanju Verma, the fact is that this Delhi liquor policy case appears to be a classic case of process is the punishment. We've gone through more than 2 years since the investigation. The trial has not begun. The money trail has not been established. But the BJP has managed somehow to create the impression that sab chor hai, corruption has taken place. You too are going to have to answer the question. For years you said the CBI was a cage parrot under the UPA. Today a judge has said the CBI is a cage parrot under your government. What happened? To tota aapka ho gaya tota.
Okay, Rajdeep ji. Now let me make a few pertinent points. I heard the Aam Aadmi Party panelist. I'm glad that today, at least ये नहीं कहा जाएगा संविधान खतरे में है, लोकतंत्र खतरे में है, democracy खतरे में है. Just because the Prime Minister attended Ganesh Chaturthi at the CJI's residence, the entire cabal was out to malign and undermine the credibility of our apex judiciary. I'm glad that at least that is not the case today. But I'll come to straight the moot point of the debate. Let's be very clear. I heard Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and bear with me for 30 seconds. This is the same Abhishek Manu Singhvi who in April 2023, on behalf of 14 opposition parties, 241 petitions, he went to the Supreme Court saying exactly what you've just told me. Process is the punishment, opposition is being selectively targeted, and there is no room for opposition in today's political space in the Indian political landscape. And this is what Justice A.M. Khanvilkar told Abhishek Manu Singhvi. It was a 3-judge bench of Justice Khanvilkar, Justice C.T. Ravikumar and Dinesh Maheshwari. This is very important because this will set the tone of the debate.
I have limited time today on the debate. You answer me what Justice Bhuya said. No, I'm not interested. No, ma'am, you must tell me what. You're not answering my question. If you don't answer my question. Okay, finish.
This is not done.
I will give you 1 minute. I will give you 1 minute uninterrupted. Please go ahead.
No, you gave the Aam Aadmi Party 3 minutes. You've already eaten my 20 seconds. I want my 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Now let me finish. Yes, thank you, Rajdeep. Let's be very clear. And this is pertaining to PMLA. Because Abhishek Manu Singhvi was saying that, PMLA is being misused to target the opposition. And Abhishek Manu Singhvi had a nice big fat omelette on his face for all the false bravado that he may showcase on your show that counts for nothing. This is a very important judgment, and this continues to stay. This judgment has not been declared invalid. The verdict of April 2023. This is what Justice Khanvilkar said. This court upholds the validity of Section 3 pertaining to definition of money laundering, upholds Section 5 of PMLA pertaining to attachment of property, Section 8(4) pertaining to possession of attached property, Section 17 pertaining to search and seizure. Most importantly, this court upholds Section 19 of the PMLA pertaining to powers of arrest, Section 24 pertaining to reverse burden of proof, Section 44 pertaining to offences that can be tried by a special court, and Section 45 of the PMLA pertaining to what is cognizable and a non-bailable offence. The most important sections are 45. In a PMLA case, when you are tried for it, it is automatically non-bailable, it is automatically cognizable, and under Section 19, bail is the exception, jail is the norm. And there is reverse burden of proof under Section 24, which means if tomorrow Rajdeep Sardesai is going to be tried under PMLA, the investigation agencies don't have to
I'm
prove
sorry
that
to
Rajdeep
no. I will now. No, ma'am, you are not. Ma'am,
guilty.
just a minute. Please put your voice lower. Ma'am, no, your point. You are not answering my point. You are not, no, just a minute. Put his voice down, producer. I am asking you a simple question. You rattled off what Khanwilkar's judgment is. Let me now tell you, ma'am, that judgment is subject to review. Are you aware of that? That judgment since has been diluted by several judges, including Justice Gawai. I will ask you a straight question. Today, the Supreme Court used the word cage parrot for the CBI. What is your response? Please answer my question. The CBI was called a cage parrot by none less than the Supreme Court Judge Justice Bhuya today. The BJP, when it was in opposition, said the Congress used the CBI as a cage parrot. Today, the boot is on your foot. Give me a straight answer. I won't interrupt you if you answer straight.
No, you have been interrupting me. And I want to tell your audience, please look at Rajdeep Sardesai.
Are you going to answer my question?
BJP, he gives a free
Are you going to answer my question?
Reasons best known to him.
Okay.
Now can I start? I will start
please.
provided you don't interrupt me, you don't interject me.
I won't.
Because you do not have patience. When Sanju Verma is on your show, you start
Because you're not answering my
you start
question.
jumping up and down.
No. I want questions answered. I have limited time.
If you want questions answered, now please keep quiet. I do not want you to give me bhashan.
Please answer.
Thank you. Yes. Now please listen. Do not interrupt Rajdeep Sardesai. I will tell you, caged parrot, whether the CBI is a caged parrot or a Siberian crane or a white-backed vulture or a red-headed vulture, I am not getting into that. My simple point is this, Rajdeep. Why is it that today the very people who are jumping up and down, मैंने देखा Justice Ujjwal Bhuiya ने CBI को cage parrot बुलाया. CBI was a cage parrot when Narendra Modi was charged with the Godhra riots in 2002. He was maligned, humiliated, insulted by every single judicial body. And finally, in 2022 June, he was given a clean chit by the Supreme Court. But everybody, including the fourth pillar of India's so-called, free media, they tried humiliating Narendra Modi at every given opportunity. He did not complain. Tab CBI cage parrot nahi thi. Sohrabuddin Sheikh was murdered on 26 November 2005. Amit Shah was given a clean chit by Bombay High Court in 2016. But yahi log jo aaj taaliyan baja rahe hain, they said, no, we don't believe the Bombay High Court. Amit Shah is guilty. He was then given a clean chit by the Supreme Court. That is what happens when people face the law and do not complain about.
I've heard you. Your time is up, producer. Okay. The fact is, that's in the past. Today, it was the CBI under Narendra Modi and Amit Shah that was called a cage parrot. And you've not answered that question, even though I repeatedly asked you. No, you've not. I'm sorry. Amitabh Tiwari, please put your voice down. Amitabh Tiwari, let's turn to the politics. The politics is that Arvind Kejriwal now has a Haryana election, which the AAP is going to fight, and then Delhi in 4-5 months from now. Would you agree that his image as do you believe his image as an anti-corruption crusader has taken a hit as a result of the alleged Delhi liquor scam, and therefore he has a difficult fight ahead?
See, essentially we have to look at it with two angles. One is that your MOTN showed in August, despite all these charges, that he continues to be the number 2 chief minister across India after Yogi Adityanath. And he continues to be the number 3rd or 4th PM candidate across India after Modi and Rahul. So it seems from the surveys that these numbers may not have significantly dented his image. However, this would charge his cadre in Punjab and Delhi. But since it's a national party and it has significant national ambitions, these allegations may have dented the party's image in other states. So its national ambitions will likely take a hit because he will now have to prove that he is innocent in the court when the charges are framed and when the process takes place. The dilemma for the Aam Aadmi Party is that whether it continues to be part of the India bloc or comes out of it. We've seen in Haryana there is no alliance. In Haryana and other state elections, Aam Aadmi Party does not have much at stake. The bigger election for Aam Aadmi Party is a Delhi election because it has a chance to equal Sheila Dikshit's record. And there is where the battle of the competing narratives will come into play. Whether their image has taken a hit, which BJP has.
What's your sense? What's your sense? Can Arvind Kejriwal garner sympathy? What's your sense? Can he garner sympathy or will he have to prove himself all over again?
See, as far as Delhi is concerned, I see Delhi's state BJP unit as one of the weakest in the countries. And since Aam Aadmi Party or Arvind Kejriwal was the person who launched this economic model of governance, which is free Bijli Pani, which is now in the manifestos of most of the state governments. He was the first to launch the cash income support for women in Punjab, and now that is a favorite scheme of state governments across the country. And since the demographic of Delhi is largely where he has employed a socio-economic class-based politics rather than a caste-based approach. So it seems to me that in Delhi, he still has the edge. Whether he has the numbers of 62 and 8, which has been there the past two elections, that remains doubtful. But his image definitely across outside of Delhi and Punjab has taken a hit, and expansion plans would also take a hit.
Okay, let me leave it there. As I said, I had a little limited time because we have an important guest waiting for us. Sanju Verma, Akshay Marathe and Amitabh Tiwari, I appreciate you joining me here today on the Kejriwal factor. We'll see how it plays out in the days ahead. I want to turn from there to our newsmaker tonight, and I want to tell you why we are calling him a newsmaker, because an India Today reporter, someone who works for us as a retainer in Washington, Rohit Sharma, was roughed up last week in the United States by Congress members who were part of Rahul Gandhi's entourage, according to Rohit. This happened while he was interviewing Indian Overseas Congress chairperson Sam Pitroda in Dallas ahead of Rahul Gandhi's visit. Rohit reportedly asked Mr. Pitroda a question on Bangladesh and the treatment of Bangladeshi Hindus, which was objected to by some of the Congress supporters in the room. Rohit's phone was snatched away and they forcibly deleted his interview with Sam Pitroda. So who better than Sam Pitroda, who I spoke to a short while ago, to answer the questions? Listen in. And joining me now is Sam Pitroda, chairperson of the Indian Overseas Congress, who was with Rahul Gandhi right through that trip. Mr. Pitroda, before I come to the specifics of the trip, I have to tell you about a very disturbing story that's come to light, where a correspondent associated with India Today was roughed up, his mobile phone seized, his data deleted, while he had just done an interview with you ahead of Rahul Gandhi's trip in Dallas. And he was roughed up by advanced members of Team Rahul and Congress supporters there because they did not like the last question that he had asked you, allegedly asking you that Bangladeshi Hindus, when they are attacked, how will Rahul Gandhi respond to that? Now, all of this suggests that the Congress party is intolerant and unwilling to take inconvenient questions.
First of all, I'm not aware of it. I wasn't there. I do know that I gave an interview to Rohit Sharma. He was very pleasant. We had a decent conversation. And I'm not aware of it. But if something happened, I'll look into it. And, I will follow up. But I have no idea.
So you're saying you have no idea. Rohit Sharma has written a piece saying you were taken away from there because your final question was, Rohit's final question was, will Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of Hindus being killed in Bangladesh during his meetings with US lawmakers? Now, you were taken away even as you were going to answer that question.
I was not taken away by anybody.
Sir, his mobile was seized, his data was deleted. This is unacceptable. The Congress talks of Mohabbat ki dukaan, but when a journalist asks an inconvenient question, he's roughed up and his mobile is seized and the data deleted. Do you agree that this casts a shadow on this whole Mohabbat ki dukaan?
No, first of all, as I told you, I'm not aware of it. I was not taken away, by the way. That's a wrong word. I had to leave because we were running late. Nobody took me away. I'm not an object that you carry me. Okay? So please don't use those words.
But does it trouble you when you read this? Does it trouble you as someone who says he's committed to free speech and democracy? When this happens, does it trouble you?
Of course it troubles me because I need to find out the facts and I will look into it. I was not there. I had nothing to do with it.
So as you say, you know Rohit Sharma well. Will you, Sam, act? Because as I said, this casts a shadow on the Congress party's commitment, they say, to free speech intolerance. Rahul Gandhi talks about Mohabbat ki dukaan, but this suggests intolerance.
First of all, How many times I have to tell you that I don't know? There is no sense in your raising your voice. Okay, let's be calm about it. I have no idea. I will look into it. I don't approve of anybody being mishandled. I do not approve of, not giving respect to journalists. I do not approve of any of these things. You know me. Okay.
Yes, I know you.
Me
So
well.
will you give an unqualified apology on behalf of your party to Rohit Sharma if, as you find out, these details that he has put out in the public domain are true?
I will find out. That's all I can tell you right now. Okay.
Will there be accountability for anyone within the advanced team of Team Rahul who was responsible for this?
I have no idea who is in the advanced team. I don't know who handled it. I have no clue. So let's not just get into it and leave it at a point that I will look into it. And I do not appreciate this kind of treatment for anybody. I am for free press. You know me. I am for respect and dignity. You know me by now. And all I can tell you is I'll find out.
You're saying you'll find out, you'll order an inquiry, and you will ensure that if
I'm not talking
Rohit
about ordering an inquiry. I'm not talking about ordering an inquiry. So don't put words in my mouth.
But you'll find out what happened.
I will find out.
Okay, you will find out, and I hope that the Congress party will break its silence here, Mr. Pitroda, because the BJP has every right then to question the Congress party's commitment to free speech. I hope you appreciate what I'm saying. The only reason I raise my voice is because I believe...
Anything to do with...
Yes?
I don't think it has anything to do with Congress party. Somebody may have mishandled. He wasn't advanced man or anything. I don't know who that was, and we'll find out. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. Can I, though, ask you that question, maybe, that was asked by Rohit Sharma, and you can answer that, because Rahul Gandhi was in the United States for a week. The question that Rohit had asked, will Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of Hindus being killed in Bangladesh during his meetings with US lawmakers? You were there in those meetings. Were these contentious issues raised at all by Mr. Gandhi, do you believe?
No. It was not raised by anybody.
So what was your focus when you met the US lawmakers? Let's start with all the major issues that have been raised during this visit. The first one, you met the US lawmakers, you were there with Rahul Gandhi, and the focus was on the fact that one of those lawmakers was US Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who, remember, is seen as someone who has been advocating the cause of Pakistan, of Azadi for Kashmir, and therefore it was interpreted that why is Rahul Gandhi indulging with anti-national Indian, anti-India elements?
Okay, let's be calm about it. Let's understand what the real issues are and not raise our voice and have a heated conversation, because this is not productive for anybody. So the meeting was called by what is known as the Congressional Progressive Caucus. It is one of the most influential and powerful caucus in US Congress. It has members of the Senate as well as US House of Representatives. Its chair is Pramila Jayapal. Unfortunately, she could not join because she had flu, and I got a call day before that she won't be able to join. Ilhan Omar is the deputy chair of the caucus. However, the meeting was arranged in the room of a very senior congressman, Brad Sherman, who has been in Congress for 28 years, a very powerful member of the US House Foreign Affairs Committee. He hosted the meeting. Jan Schakowsky, who is the top whip of the Democratic Party in the US House, who has been a congresswoman for 26 years. She's also vice chair of the Progressive Caucus. Then there were many other people like Barbara Lee. She's a congresswoman for 26 years. There were members of the Black Caucus. A friend of mine, Jonathan Jackson, son of Jesse Jackson, one of the most towering black leaders in America, who once ran for White House. Jonathan came in early, about 20, 30 minutes. So we had a very interesting conversation with Jonathan Jackson about blacks and their cause in America. Then there were others like Hank Johnson, a powerful leader from Atlanta, Georgia. There were Indian congressmen as well, like Ro Khanna, Raja Krishnamurti, and Sri Thanedar.
So you're saying
all three are well known.
Yeah, you're saying
all
it was a
diverse.
Sir, if I may just for a moment, you're saying it was a diverse gathering. You're saying that it wasn't just Ilhan Omar, but the fact is the optics of having someone in that room who's very critical of India, doesn't it somewhere send out the message that, as I said, that Rahul
Depends
Gandhi
on what message you want to read. The point
so
is,
what was the message?
Option.
What was the message you all were trying to seek? What were you all trying to gather or listen to?
Yeah, give me a minute and I will tell you. Okay. So let me talk about the Indian congressman. Ro Khanna represents California, and that includes famous Silicon Valley. His grandfather was a congressman, very famous congressman, Mr. Vidyalankar, who participated in the early days in the government as well. Raja Krishnamurti is from Chicago, know him well. We know his views. And Mr. Thanedar, we know his views and his affiliations also. So there were people from all walks of life.
Right.
And the meeting was in the office of Mr. Sharman.
What was the focus?
The focus was really to talk about US-India relationship, talk about democracy, freedom, constitution, economic issues, issues related to employment, technology, and we covered whole host of things, including agriculture productivity.
No,
it was a very fruitful discussions.
The reason I'm asking you this, when you so the reason I'm asking you this is when you raise that, issues of democracy, global values were raised, there are those who are saying when Rahul Gandhi was in the United States, he was very critical of democracy in India, questioned whether there were free and fair elections, said there was no level playing field, raised the issue of border intrusions by China. And this has led to suggestions that Rahul Gandhi, who is fiercely anti-Modi, was seen to project on global soil an anti-India position. Now, how do you respond to that? Because this is an argument made time and again, both in England earlier, last year, and now in the United States.
Okay, first of all, there is nothing that is local. Everything is global, and everything that is global is also local. We live in an era where distance is dead and time is instant. So this business of going on foreign soil, this, that, don't make sense. Wake up, guys. Where are you living? In 2024? And you think these things have borders? Information has no borders.
Is the line between anti-Modism and anti-India being blurred somewhere? That you take a position where
That's
you
okay.
criticize the
That's
government
okay.
is one thing.
That's-
You end up
okay.
criticizing Indian democracy as well.
That's okay. It is not about criticizing, Modi or anybody. It's about expressing your views. If you think it is criticizing, too bad. Okay? Let's wake up. What are we talking?
Sure, which is why I said at
Can
the
you
outset
say
that the same,
there
which
no
is
such
exactly
thing?
what I said, Sam, the same principles that you're using for free speech, which I appreciate, should have also been used when a journalist should not have been roughed up for
agree
asking
with that.
you a question.
I agree with that, but I'm not aware of it. I said I will look into it. So let's not connect these two. These two are of a totally different,
Okay. Okay.
set of questions.
Okay, let me ask you though, and I want to play this, Sam, because this is another issue which was raised. Rahul Gandhi spoke, and I'm just going to play it, and I want you to respond to this, on Sikhism. Listen to what Rahul Gandhi asked, and I want a clarification from you.
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear a kada in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be able to go to a Gurdwara. That's what the fight is about. And not just for him. For all religions.
You see, that statement of Rahul Gandhi about Sikhs, whether they can wear a kada, go to a Gurdwara, wear a turban, is being interpreted by many, Sam Pitroda, as fear-mongering. There are even those who are supporters of Rahul Gandhi who feel he crossed a line there. This is not a moment to engage in fear-mongering. The Sikhs are proud Indian citizens, and surely that's not the kind of narrative that you want to spread in the United States, where we've already seen separatist Sikh voices for Khalistan.
I believe you need to focus on the first part of the sentence. The fight is about. I think that is the key to this conversation. The conversation is not about Sikh. Conversation is not about Kada. Conversation is not about Gurdwara. Conversation is about the fight is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Indian media has tendency to take things out of context. If you look at the entire context, and I think many more capable people have clarified it, you don't need clarification from me. Thank you.
No, but Rahul, if Rahul Gandhi was speaking on diversity, maybe he could have articulated it better. The worry is that sometimes Rahul Gandhi speaks in a manner where he may well be well-intentioned, may want to speak about the need to preserve diversity, but then he ends up using examples that can be easily misinterpreted. You're saying we've taken it out of context, but when I see it in that statement itself, it is to be seen as fear-mongering, which is completely needless.
Okay, I have no comment on it because I said a lot of people have commented. I told you my view. The only way I read this is the fight is about.
Okay.
That's
overall,
the way I read it.
Okay. Overall, therefore, Sam Pitroda, how do you see Rahul Gandhi's visit? As you said, the attempt was made
I think the visit was
I
think the visit was very successful. He was very well received. We should be proud of the fact that Indian member of the parliament and leader of opposition got the kind of reception on Capitol Hill that he got. He had very interesting interactions at universities, think tanks, with the National Press Club. And overall, I personally believe, based on my knowledge, visit was absolute A+.
So what's the message? What's the
up?
message? So if you say the visit is A+, what's the big message that's come out of the visit? Because as you know, the BJP here has said that Rahul Gandhi has gone to the United States only to target the Narendra Modi government.
Rahul Gandhi came to United States to celebrate victory with the NRI communities who had participated in the national election.
Victory?
He came to interact with
Victory, the Congress got only 99 seats, sir. The BJP got 240. So what's the victory?
We are not talking about numbers. We are talking about the fact that BJP did not get 400. Okay, fine. You're right. But, that's not the way we look at it.
And what was the broader, you say celebrate victory, therefore what according to you is
I'm
the
saying
message that
that's
Rahul
one
Gandhi
issue.
has sent to the people of the United States?
Hold on. I said to celebrate victory is one element. Interact with the university, interact with think tank, interact with US lawmakers, interact with the press. So there are multiple objectives of the trip. We believe
Is this all part of the reinvention and trying to repackage Rahul Gandhi to a global audience?
No, it has nothing to do with repackaging anybody. It has nothing to do with reinvention. It is part of the process of a democratic party from a nation of 1.5 billion people. This is something we need to do more often to interact with other countries. We are a major force and we don't become Vishwaguru by, putting our own horn and not listening to others. So we do this on a regular basis. We go talk to many people. Okay. We'll be going to Europe. We plan to go to Asia Pacific. This is part of the package whenever he can afford to spend some time. We all know he's very busy. So whatever little thing we can squeeze in, we try to squeeze in.
Can I therefore ask you in conclusion, since you know Rahul Gandhi intimately, as you watch him in these various interactions, what's his biggest strength? What's his biggest weakness? And I want you to be honest about both.
I will be honest about it. One, he is very honest, very sincere, very forthright, very sort of a good listener. That's his strength. He comes out as a sincere, knowledgeable young leader. The challenge we have is we try to pack too many things in a day because the demand is very high, and we all get tired very easily because our day normally starts at 8 and it ends 11, 12 at night every day. Too many meetings, and it takes toll on all of us. I wish we had more time to spread a little bit and have a little more time at every meeting.
I'm going to leave it there, Sam Pitroda, with one hope, that I hope that Rahul Gandhi and certainly Team Rahul, which Rohit Sharma, as I said, the journalist who has said that he was roughed up, that tolerance is also part...
Hold on. I wish Rohit Sharma had spoken to me before going public. He decided to go public without talking to me. I feel...
Sir, he will certainly speak to you, but as you know, Sam Pitroda, it is unacceptable. There must be zero tolerance for anyone who treats the media in this manner. I hope that message will go down right down the line to your Congress party. I raised my voice, sir, at the very outset because I was angry. I do not believe that any journalist who simply asks a question should be treated in this manner. And I hope that the Congress party will get that message loud and clear. And I hope you will be the messenger, Mr. Pitroda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, that's all that we could pack in on the show tonight. Delhi, large parts of it are underwater. I want to leave you with those images. I hope if you're in the national capital, you're staying safe, or wherever you are in the country. Have a good weekend. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.